Hello again YouTube, this is Angelos aka the Pulester, and I will be bringing you a 3v3 online commentary battle for Empire Total War. This battle is played on the Syrian map. I am with BW Alba playing as USA and BW Aileron playing as Huron Confederacy. I am in the centre of the map playing as the Ottoman Empire. This is on the Syrian flats, and I'm trying to speak extremely quickly because the action is about to start and I want to get all the introductions out of the way. Okay, our opponents are members of the LF clan and the Silent Knights clan. Okay, so to start off the battle, we will take the key parts of the map. I take the central mound and then wait until my men are slightly rested. Using the Ottomans gives me a bonus because they are resistant to heat. Well, yeah, I think all of them are resistant to heat. Anyway, the person opposing Alba, who is on my right, sends his 4 light dragoons right the way round the rear. Now, you may have just seen my Ottoman Delhi horsemen flanking his dragoons. Now, Alba pins him in, well, not pins him in, or at least distracts him with his own dragoons, you can see here. And then, as I know that this guy's attention is not on his other dragoons, because Alba is drawing his attention away, I then charge him from the rear with his delis. He then realises, but it's too late, because I've got another deli coming in from this side, and Alba has his household cav getting in from the other side. I accidentally shot there when I meant to press a charge order. So, yeah, what had happened there was the guy in front of him, his name's Azazel, sent his 4 dragoons right the way around the rear, and he dispatched one. And Alba said to me that he was going to chase after it with his own dragoons. That distracted him enough for me to come round the back and annihilate them. You can see he's ensuring that the dragoons can't escape by sending fast light cav to cut them off. All of the dragoons perish in that assault. So that was a very good anti-dragoon move by me and Alba there. Yes, it tends to happen in some team battles where the players focus only on their opponent and forget that their allies may come and help them, which is what I did. Okay, this is on my left now. Throughout this battle, I'm like a floating support player, which is a role I do occasionally. Usually I'm more of an aggressive player, but in this one, I decided that I'd support Aileron and Alba's attack, and then just hold the hills in the middle. Okay, so his opponent is playing as Spain, and for some reason he's moved his whole skirmisher force into range of Aileron's musketmen. It's not something I would have particularly have done, because I have rifles which outrange musketmen. I would have kept my rifles further back and then peppered his musketmen, weakening them, and then do the meat shield rush to get my line in play. But obviously he had confidence in his Walloon guards, which he's got in the centre of his line. But what he wasn't counting on was Aileron to actually pull his musketmen out of the way and then do a charge with his Ojibwas straight for the middle. Luring the Spaniard forward like this was part of our plan as well, because now there's a small gap in the map and I can get around the rear. But I won't do that until Aileron's fixed him with his Ojibwas. You can see how the Spaniard and his American ally are trying to countercharge into the Ojibwas with heavy cavalry and dragoons. But notice what they've done to the Spanish line. They've had to charge straight through the Spanish line and have completely disrupted it and actually caused it heavy loss. With this constant disruption going on in the centre, it allows me to flank the Spaniard. I do a quick charge on a line regiment there with a Sipahi Lancer unit, which does heavy damage. Then I go round into the rear and start harassing his skirmishers. You can see he's turning a unit of Cazadors to face me, but it's a bit too late because my Sipahis are already on top of it. So what I intend to do with these Sipahis is just to keep charging down the line and disrupt his skirmisher wedges, allowing Aileron to move his Ojibwas up. The only thing that's really causing him any problem is the Walloon guards, who are in squares, wisely, because that will give him a melee stat bonus and a morale bonus. You can see the experience chevrons on his Ojibwa as well. Yeah, and these guards, I think these are Guardias. Yeah, they are by the skins. Yeah, they're Guardias de infantry. The only things that Aileron wiped out immediately were the Spanish line, which collapsed as soon as he touched them. So here we go. I've pinned in the Spanish Cazadors, and Aileron's dispatched one of his Ojibwa, and he's going to he's going to take him out basically, because Ojibwa against Cazadors is not exactly an even fight. You notice there my men flanking round the side. That was to aid Aileron against the Walloon Guard squares. Notice there, and there's only 2 left, and he's pounding on them with all of his Ojibwas. This is a build. This is the first. I think, was it the first time or the second time Aileron used? It could actually be the first time Aileron had used this army. So yeah, this was before we all realised how OP Ojibwa actually were. So especially on this map as well. So anyway. The American also dispatched units to come over and help the Spaniard. He was my opponent in the centre. My units, which I've sent over to help Aileron, are now engaged in the American line, and I am doing cav disruption on the Minutemen, long rifles, and the surviving cazadors to allow Aileron to get in position. I'm also putting a buffer between the main American army and the Spanish army by dispatching 1 unit of Nizam riflemen and 1 of my line to plug that gap. So I don't want to be sending my main army into that gap just yet, because I want that to stay in position to engage his main line when the time comes. So this is requiring a lot of patience from me, because I'm waiting and waiting and waiting until the Spaniard's out of the way, and I've dealt with this American detachment. Then I will move on the main American line. So with my I go a bit I don't know. I don't know what the word is, primal I suppose. Instead of shooting, I get all caught up in the melee bloodlust rush, and I charge my Nizam line in, which are actually extremely strong in melee. So yeah, so the main part of the battle was Aileron's attack there, which completely decimated the Spaniard. The American had to dispatch units, and he's lost all of them, which has greatly weakened his central position. Notice how he hasn't moved though, so that's forced me to attack him. Meanwhile, on the other side, it's mainly been a skirmisher fight between Alba and the was it Azazel? Yeah, it was Azazel he was facing. Neither one of them really wanting to give up the woods. Yeah, they both tree-hugged the palm trees that were there, so yeah. But Alba does a really good thing here, which I hadn't actually noticed in the battle, but I noticed in the replays. He sent a marine unit really, really far ahead of his line, and he sent it into an angle where the Dutch line couldn't actually hit it, and he's now going to decimate these Dutch line imp. But yeah, I couldn't show that because I had to keep the clip down to 10 minutes. But that over there finishes off Azazel on the far side. So over here, the main battle against the American has started. Notice I was just getting my units in and out of squares extremely quickly there, due to that dragoon assaulting my right hand side. Okay, I'm pushing up on the Americans' left, centre and right. I remember Aileron at this stage was coming behind me with his huge horde of natives, but I didn't particularly want to be bailed out, and I wanted to actually kill this guy on my own, so I block him with my rifleman, so I can actually get the job done. Well, not quicker, but I want to actually do something, if you know what I mean. It's not often that I have to wait for my ally to come and help me out. Okay, so again my right side is harassed by dragoons. He charges in, I have to keep them in square. Then he wisely charges onto the next unit, disrupting them. Then he pushes a marine unit up and starts shooting at me with their faster rate of fire, which will actually decimate my Nizam line on the right side. Notice how that one dragoon, even though he sacrificed it, completely disrupted my line. So it was all alright though. It only took me about 5 seconds to regroup, but that 5 seconds could be key, especially if I'm being shot at. Luckily at this stage of the battle it doesn't really matter. Okay, so in the rear you probably won't be able to see, or you can just about see in the back. I'm getting my cav right the way around the rear of the American line. And this is Alba basically finishing off the Dutchman now. Now that he dealt with his dragoons at the start, this virtually killed off Azazel's plan, I think. So he had to be much more defensive than he wanted to be. Okay, here's my cav. I decided to all charge one unit. This was because there were so few of them left that I knew that this wasn't actually going to do anything. But over here I dispatched my general was in that Sipahi unit, and I didn't want him to die. So I dispatched him to take out a weaker unit and then pulled him back through my standard line. Notice the green lines, I'm steadily enveloping and encircling the American. Luckily for me, he thins his Minutemen out here, which means each one of my Sipahis can kill one of the Minutemen, because in a thin line, they're much easier to kill with cav. Notice how it actually wavers when I smash into the rear of it as well, even with 10 Sipahis. Unfortunately, though, my other cav, which went in on that one unit all route, but the disruption is done, and it allowed me to get some good shots off. So he then pulls back and regroups, but it's to no avail because I immediately push up. I have all my units grouped, so I can easily chase after him and not lose formation. Yeah, my build is a bit late in the day to be saying about builds, but I might as well say it. I think I had 7 line, 4 or 5 rifles, 3 Delhi horsemen, and 2 Sipahis, I think, and I had a number of upgrades on my peripheral riflemen and line regiments. Now this is Aileron trying to get in on the action, but I'm deliberately blocking him off again with my line bending round the American's flank. He does get eventually into position to help me rout them. You can see some of his, what the hell are they called? The Huron bow-armed cab. I can't remember the name offhand. Is it Ojibwa horse warriors? No, it's not Ojibwa horse warriors, is it? Anyway, it could be actually. Yeah, anyway, they look similar. They got the funny, pineapple hat thing. Anyway, they're horse archers, and that actually, when he comes along and starts shooting, they all chain route for some reason. Perhaps they don't like the bows. Anyway, that's the end of the battle. I hope you enjoyed that battle. It was a good show of team tactics by everyone, I thought. Until next time, I think.